Hey, what's going on, guys? So welcome back. I brought you guys yet again another Star Wars Battlefront 2 beta. The beta's actually been extended out till Wednesday, so when I got off work today and found out that it was actually extended out a couple of days, I was so excited, and I'm happy to get back into this game and keep playing it. I was really sad it was going to be leaving me, but I'm happy to be back here playing it again. I wanted to give you guys kind of my impression on the beta so far, kind of talk about the good and the bad. And just, I would love to get your guys' opinion. Right now, you guys are watching me play. This is game footage from my stream a couple of days ago. Had an amazing KD. It was like, I think I got 55 kills. I can't remember if I had like 4 or 5 deaths, but had an amazing game. Got to have some hero game time, and it just was a lot of fun. So I wanted to show you guys the gameplay, and then just talk about the good and the bad in the game. So I'll start with the good. I do have to say this game hits a lot of markers when it comes to either graphics or music or the atmosphere. I have to say all those in tangent make this game a really good game. I mean, the different planets, whether it be Naboo, or when the game gets released and it's you're playing on Hoth, or you're playing on Nar Shaddaa. I don't know if anybody KOTOR fans out there like the city planets or Coruscant or something like that. Those different atmospheres and the music that is attached to it make you feel more immersed into the atmosphere, more a part of the story. And the fact too that they've actually added stories attached to each mission. When we get to the release of the game here in Naboo, you just know it's the droids trying to take the throne room on Naboo. It always has a story, and that's kind of the one thing that's always attached to me. I mean, hell, when I played the Call of Duty 2 or Call of Duty World War II beta, and it actually had a story attached to war, that made me want to keep coming back to the game mode more and more, because each side has a story. The clones are defending the throne room and defending Naboo while the droids are attacking. The same thing can be said in the Call of Duty series with their war game mode in Call of Duty World War II. So that is one thing I really do love. The music adds on to it with, the classic, John Williams themes of Star Wars, and as well too, anytime I play as like Darth Maul or something like that, I'm always singing like the songs attached to that character. Or anytime I'm playing as Boba Fett, I'm quoting him, depending on what movies I like to kind of quote him from, or even Han Solo. So there's always things attached to the different characters, the music. That just come back from my childhood, and the fact too that they've done that seamlessly, adding music to the different atmospheres, and depending on what character you're playing, definitely makes this game a lot better to me, just because it brings me in more to the game. Scale, I have to say, is very nice too. You do feel like a battle is happening on Naboo, and you have this entire street corridor to kind of fight through, and the fact too that you're not really spawning too far away from the battle. I mean, hell, sometimes I might be spawning and immediately getting into a fight, a couple yards down the way to the objective, which is really nice, because I do hate games where I spawn at one location, I have to run all the way back, and it's like maybe a 5-minute jog back to the fight, and I love that it doesn't take too long to get back into combat, or to actually meet up with new teammates and meet up with people that are on the battlefield. I mean, I love playing as the officer, so I love trying to give out boosts to people, and it's just, I like that to where you can get back in the conflict much quicker, into games where it's PvP element driven. So I love the scale, I love the atmosphere, I love the music. The graphics are really good with me. There's not too much. I know some people might have been complaining about how the graphics look, but I like the graphics a lot, and I think they did a really good job on it. Now, when it comes to classes and hero stats, I think they did a really good job. I love, playing, the different types of, different droids or different clone trooper classes that they have out there. Assault, being that basic, soldier going out there with your blaster. Maybe your different abilities that make you help you gain health or something like that when you're trying to shoot people. To the assault class, having that shield, being able to protect, different flanks, or protecting soldiers that are behind you, trying to be that tank, absorbing the damage and also dealing out a lot of damage. I love that aspect of the heavy. The officer class, being able to give buffs to people. I love that as an officer class, being able to help out other people. That's the one thing I love about the officer class the most. That I do wish that's actually in my bad parts, that I'll kind of talk about a little bit later on, about where he gives abilities at, how long they last for, and then the repercussions of being an officer and actually giving out buffs is not really that great on the officer standpoint. So I'll kind of talk about that later on, but I do enjoy the idea of the officer class. Next to the sniper, I've already done a video about the sniper class, and it's a lot of fun to be able to lock down positions, keep people away from different objectives, and just be that support player either playing up close and personal with the infiltration mode, or being that sniper sitting back, kind of giving your guys' cover, or you're covering other objectives. Like, you know, in previous gameplays, I was covering the objective of the launchers in Naboo. So it's definitely a lot of fun to do those different types of classes, and I think they did a very good job on it. Next is the hero classes. So I do believe they did a really good job, you know, depending on you're playing either Boba Fett or Han Solo or Rey or Darth Maul. I did believe that they did a really good job with kind of separating them between, you know, different abilities that they get, as well as, you know, how they act on the battlefield. You know, the Jedi can actually jump higher. Han Solo can run into people. Boba Fett can hover around with his jetpack, and it's really great. One thing I do actually have to say that's again in my negatives is, you know, Force users need more health, and I'll kind of get into that a little bit later on. But yeah, I do love what they've done with the hero class. I love the upgrades and the way that people play with the different classes to support each other. So I think on that aspect alone with the game, they did very well. Now for the bad parts, I still know there's a lot of time, you know, before this game actually gets released. There's a lot of time for a lot of different changes, you know, the weapons, to stats, to different abilities in the game. So I'm not going to be too harsh on certain things, but I would love to see certain stuff either get changed or be actually just completely removed entirely. So I'll get into it, and I'll talk about classes and heroes first. So classes, the only thing I really saw the biggest problem with, besides, I know a lot of people talked about the infiltration class. I know that's already getting taken care of. I've watched different videos either from Star Wars HQ or other videos to where that's already getting nerfed, so I don't really want to talk about that so much. But with the officer class, so the officer class has that ability to give people buffs. You either give people more health, or you have, you know, the ability to give people a longer firing rate. You know, they have less cooldown time before their next reload on their weapon, which is really nice. So you can either pick between more health or longer firing rates, and you know, to give those buffs out to people and to help people out in the game doesn't actually give a whole lot of points to the officer. The most that the officer class actually gets is if, you know, those players that he gives buffs to gets kills or gets assists. The officer player gets points for the people that he buffs. If they get a kill or they get, you know, some type of point in the game. That is the only way the officer class gets a point. And to me, I just see that as a really stupid way of doing the officer class. I really do look forward to, hopefully in the game in the future, that they give more points to the officer. You know, you're buffing people up, so you get, you know, how many points, you know, per person that you buff in the game. Definitely makes more people hopefully play as officer classes, because it's a bigger incentive to play the officer class, since you're getting more points depending on if you're staying close to people or you're not. So I'd love to see more points added to the officer class if you're buffing multiple people. Next thing for the hero class is I really would love to see more health given to the lightsaber, you know, wielding characters. You know, Darth Maul, Yoda, Rey, Luke Skywalker, whoever. Because I do feel like you know, even though they have a little bit more health, I think, you know, Han Solo and Boba Fett have about 500 HP, and the Jedi have like 700. I still feel like the lightsaber wielding characters get a lot of damage dealt to them, and they can't survive. I mean, there's countless times that I'll play as Rey, and I'll have like 3 people shooting at me, and I'll just go down like that. And it's just completely crazy on how, you know, how much there's not really a damage reduction, I guess, for the characters. So, you know, for, you know, 5,000 points being, you know, the way that you can actually unlock these characters, I really would love, you know, maybe you increase how many points it gets, you know, it takes to unlock them, but they also get a lot more health, or, you know, they have less damage, or they have more damage reduction, because I do feel like the lightsaber wielding characters cannot stand up against, you know, 3 or 4 people when they're, you know, that's what they have to do. They have to get close in on their opponents, and they just can't do it just because they get taken down so fast. So I really would love to see something change to, you know, the Jedi and the Sith. Next thing is price points for, you know, different reinforcements, either being, you know, Wookiee warriors, the jetpack troopers, you know, you have the super battle droids, stuff like that. Even some of the starships in the Galactic Assault, I really would love to see, you know, those reduced, because you don't really see too many often. You don't see too many super battle droids, or you don't see too many Wookiee warriors, because a lot of people are saving up for those hero classes. So I would love to see, you know, a price reduction in those classes, so, you know, people are using them a lot more, and, you know, you don't have people holding on to their points up until the point where they can actually purchase a hero. And then sometimes those heroes are already taken, so then they're just sitting on the points, and then sometimes they might buy, a different character in the reinforcements. But if at all, if they could reduce them, that would be a great way to get more people, hopefully, to buy onto the other reinforcements besides the heroes. Next is the credit system, and I don't know why Star Wars Battlefront does it like this, but no matter if you're doing well, you're doing great, you're doing bad, you're doing whatever, everybody gets the same amount of credits at the end of the game. I always thought this was kind of different. I did very well in games, getting 49 kills, 55 kills, whatever. And I thought, I was getting the high-end, credits, 180 credits, 150 credits, whatever. But apparently that's not the case. I was watching Angry Joe's show, and he did a, experiment on this, and sure enough, everybody's getting the same amount of credits, no matter if you're doing really bad or really great. So one thing I would love to see, done to the game is an increase on, how well you do with the amount of credits that you get. The one thing is with the loot boxes, which are the loot crates that I'm going to get into here in a bit, you have to gain, thousands of credits in order to unlock those things to get, either upgrades or different abilities and whatnot. And if you're doing really great and you're helping the team out, you're playing the objective and everything, and there's other people that are not, they're doing really bad, they're not doing anything, they get the same amount of credits that you do, and that is just the craziest thing I've ever seen. I've never seen a game reward people that are not doing anything, as well as the people that are doing the best, and they're getting the same awards. I mean, I don't know what kind of communist thing is happening right now, but honestly, that is like the equivalent that I kind of see it as. Is like, no matter if you're doing good or you're doing bad, you're always getting the same thing. So hopefully that is something that has changed, because I really would love to get rewarded for how well I do, how well I'm playing the objectives, how well I'm supporting my teammates, how well I'm doing this or that. I would love to see my the effort that I'm putting into this game to win or to help out teammates be rewarded at the end. So I really do hope that they do put some focus into the credit system, and then depending on how well you do or how poor you do, you get rewarded with your efforts. The last thing is finally the loot crates, and I don't know why so many games go to this free-to-play mentality of crates after paying for $60 games or $100 games, depending on what type of game you're getting. I don't know why they do this, loot crate system, pay-to-win type of things. The best way I can kind of equivalent what's happening in this game is, if you've ever played Titanfall Assault, that game, I love the game. It was a free-to-play game, but it had a loot system, and it was a lot of RNG. If you did not have the RNG gods are on your side, you are gonna suck it, because you're gonna be fighting people that have been paying a lot of money into this game to get different abilities, to get different things, and you're gonna be sucking it because you didn't put any money into it. You didn't do the effort of buying things because you were trying to play a free to play game. This game is not free to play. Just want to let everybody know that you're paying $60, $70, $80 depending on what type of game you're getting, but you're still getting the same loot system. It's attached to the weapons, to the abilities you get, and it's all based around RNG. And again, if you're not one of those types of people that are great with RNG, I know me included, you're gonna get the foot in the ass, because you're not gonna be getting the greatest rolls or the greatest abilities at all. And especially too, I know this thing has crafting materials, and sometimes it's like maybe 10 or 20 crafting materials. So maybe there's something that you're not getting in your rolls in your loot crates, and you want to build up to it and get crafting material to create it. You're still not getting a whole lot in it. So I don't understand what they're doing with this. I really do hope that they kind of get away from it. I don't know why it's so bad to kind of do like the old Call of Duty stuff where, depending on what your rank is the abilities you unlock. One thing I would love to see in this game, you actually build up with your rank, you unlock more abilities, and maybe, you prestige or whatever, and that makes your cards better every time you prestige, whatever. Anything but this RNG pay-to-win stuff. It's so stupid that this is in our games all the time now, and I really do wish they would get rid of it, just because of how much of a pain in the ass it is. Because, you put your money down up front, ready to play a game, and more often than not, games are coming out like this, and it completely sucks for people like me, other people that are putting their money out there that don't have the time or, the money to go in and buy these things. I mean, in the beta, I know they're only credits, but you sure as hell know that they're going to make these things to where you can purchase them with real money, and hopefully get the rolls that you want. So I really do hope that changes. I don't want to see that happen to this game, because I'm having a lot of fun with it. and it would suck for that to happen. But guys, that was my spiel. I would love to know what you guys think about this game. I'm still having a lot of fun with it. I really enjoy the game. I look forward to the release, but I do want to see some stuff changed in the game. But in all, if you guys have any comments about this game, any comments about what I talked about as no's, let me know down in the comments below. Hope you guys have a great rest of the day, and I will see you guys next time.